not commit. I have been hunted and thrown against the stake and called a witch, all because I am the last diaper bender, the master of diaper testing. Yesterday I released a tier list for adult diapers, something that I've talked about for months, but I was then blasted, ass cheeks spread wide open, by a community of people who believed I had stolen the idea from another YouTuber. And this wasn't a small number of people. This shit flooded the comments, even leaked into my streams, and was all over Twitter. Because a YouTuber named Oompaville posted a diaper tier list 2 months ago, which simple mathematics and arithmetic would tell you was before yesterday. So I was then truly exposed for stealing someone else's idea. It was the perfect crime, and as I sat in my swamp-assed chair twirling my evil mustache, I thought I got away with it. And I would have, if not for those meddling kids who discovered the truth and revealed it to the world. Only that they're all wrong. I'll reveal it like Darman. You see, the truth is, the adult diaper tier list is actually something we've talked about consistently on my streams at twitch.tv/moistcritical. Please feel free to stop by if you want to put a few extra inches on your penis. We've talked about it for, get ready for this grand reveal, almost 3 months. Yeah, we've been talking about this for a while. In fact, the first dating of this, to carbon date the idea of the adult diaper tier list, which of course has never been thought of in the history of humanity until it was dreamed up during one of my streams, the first known instance of this popping into this dimension was December 26th, during a Mr. Krabs overdoses on ketamine stream I was doing, chasing the world record, of course. Instead of showing you a clip from the VOD, I'll just show you a clip from a video I posted where I even had it in a YouTube video instead of just on stream. And this video is from December 27th, which predates Oompaville's video on adult diapers. Adult diapers tier list? That's a pretty good idea. There's a lot you could grade on that, like absorbency, comfort, maneuverability. Like, can I play a basketball pickup game in these adult diapers? Actually, that's a pretty fucking good idea. I don't know how comfortable I'd be pissing myself on camera, but for the sake of the tier list, I'm gonna write that down, actually. You'll notice December 27th predates the January 8th that Oompaville posted his video. I actually knew Oompaville posted this video 2 months ago because people from stream told me that the idea was stolen, and I said, I don't give a fuck. I don't think there's any such thing as stealing an idea like this, because I thought we were over that phase of the internet where everyone was childish saying that only one person is allowed to make a video on anything. There's only one person allowed to put that flag in the ground and say, this is my content, anyone that does anything similar is stealing. I thought we were way beyond that. So I put the kibosh on that shit real quick and dismissed it. But for some reason, Oompaville and his community don't share that same sentiment. Oompaville posted this tweet saying, explain this, comparing our two videos, which is clearly implying that I took his idea since his is first, and he also implies that I'm stealing his thumbnail since they're similar. I'll go ahead and defend that. This thumbnail for the adult diaper tier list is the exact same kind of thumbnail I use for every tier list ever. It's just a still from the video with a still image of part of the tier list. That's it. His is the same thing. It's just a really generic thumbnail. That's all there is to it. That's not that deep. He goes on in the tweet to say he was just joking, but no one in the tweet besides him picked up on the joke, including me when I first saw it. And most people just accused me of stealing, which then had a lot of his community go to my stream to accuse me of stealing, and a ton of people to go to the comments and make the same accusations. So it didn't really land if it was supposed to be a joke, and it's just now become like a drama thing where people are emailing me about it saying, why are you stealing content? I thought you were above this. You criticize people for stealing shit all the time, and now you're doing it. You're just as bad as them, you hypocrite. It's frustrating. Adult diapers are being treated like this holy grail, this sacred artifact that only one man was allowed to touch, and he was Oompaville. And once he touched it, no one else was allowed to put their dirty little paws on it. And that's just unfortunate, considering this is something we talked about for months, and I just put it off until recently. Also, I want to make it clear, I have no problem with Oompaville, and I enjoyed his adult diaper tier list very much. But let's just go ahead and say, setting aside the fact that I didn't steal it from him, as is clearly proven by a video that predates his, but let's go ahead and say that didn't exist, and I made this adult diapers tier list because I enjoyed his so much, I also wanted to review adult diapers myself. What the fuck is the problem with that? I really thought we were beyond this. What's happening here is shit that happened back in like 2011, where when PewDiePie would play a game, If anyone else on YouTube played that game, they'd get mass disliked by PewDiePie fans, as if he owned the fucking game. Now we're going back to that mentality? That's so fucking silly. That is the dumbest shit. More than one person is allowed to make shit about a specific area and a specific thing. Obviously, I'm not talking about people that just blatantly rip and steal content, going beat for beat, recreating someone else's content as their own. That's called plagiarism. That is completely different. At no point in any of our two videos do we really overlap doing the same shit or saying the same shit. It's very different content, all on adult diapers. I can't believe that we're having a fucking Diapergate conspiracy theory here about this shit, about who stole what, but here we are. That's just the internet these days. Anyway, that about covers that. Hopefully I've proven my innocence. I didn't have a lawyer here present to represent me, so I hope I did a decent enough job of defending myself here in this internet court. But yeah. Long overdue. I am so tardy to this party. I've been sitting on this topic for so long it's got squatters' rights. This is like when they made Zoolander 2 15 years after Zoolander 1 and nobody cared about it. But I still just feel the need to finally mention the Illuminati situation. For most of 2023, Illuminati has been this constant source of agony. There was an unreal amount of information that has come out and continues to come out about Illuminati, all of which is very bad. And as a result, her career as a YouTuber has reached a screeching halt. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have kept up with it, at least to some capacity, because it's been a huge story for so long now, but I'll give you like the most basic rundown. Illuminati was a YouTube channel, well, is a YouTube channel. She continues to post even through this, this apocalyptic career destruction. Her channel is dedicated to making video essays, mainly on like a variety of topics. She was known for how quickly she gets out the video essays, and also them being pretty high quality still. She grew pretty quickly and got very big. I think at her peak she had around 1.7 million subscribers, and things were smooth sailing. She was popping off, constantly recommended in the algorithm to people. And then in April of this year, her ego got the best of her, a victim of her own hubris. She made a call-out tweet against Legal Eagle, a very well-respected YouTuber and a fucking lawyer too, by the way, claiming that Legal Eagle's team had stolen her editing style. So, not Legal Eagle editors broaching my editors to take my video style when they didn't give up the info, they literally copied it, and by the way, I have the messages from my editors and found an email from them too. Just changed the color from purple to blue, huh? Interesting. So this is her trying to accuse Legal Eagle of stealing her editing techniques, which is an outrageous claim to make. And she didn't realize she brought piss to a poop fight. Legal Eagle was easily able to dismiss this shit and dunk on it, which really ruffled her feathers and forced her into a panic. So she tried desperately to backpedal, making an apology statement, claiming she should have reached out to hash it out privately, but it was too late. This set in motion what would be her YouTube career demise, because after this, the holes in the ship started to show, and it began to sink. She was then faced with numerous other allegations, ranging from abusive behavior, mistreating employees, just being an absolute menace to work with. Multiple victims of her came forward to showcase what Illuminati was like behind the scenes and some of the things she was doing in real life to make them miserable. Like, so much, I don't even know where to start. You could fill an entire fucking library section with just textbooks on this Illuminati lore. It has been so much, and it's constantly being added on to. Like, there's constant, like, patch notes here where there's, like, new updates to this story with new victims coming forward with their own accounts of Illuminati and what she's done to them. It's just a never-ending flood of information about how awful of a person Illuminati is. If you just search Illuminati's name on YouTube, you will get hundreds, if not thousands of videos going over and chronicling all of the allegations, all of the evidence to support the claims, and all of the terrible things that have come to light from this, as well as a lot of video essays on her downfall, because it is such a rare phenomenon to see someone as popular as her sink their career in this way. It doesn't happen often. The only other example I can think of is Boogie, and that happened slowly and gradually over the course of many years. Hers happened over the course of a few months, because that's how much came out and how disgusting a lot of it was. It is wild. So I talked about it on stream a little bit, as well as gave my prediction on what I think she's going to do in the future, because as of right now, she is still just trying to bury her head in the sand and keep posting videos to try and squeeze as much as she can out of the channel while it still's around, while there's still some people watching. She's trying to get the most juice from the squeeze here, trying to suckle the last bit of milk from this titty. And I wanted to share that prediction I had because I do think it's a pretty strong one. It's not backed by any scientific evidence or anything, just my own game theories I've cooked up here in my head. But I think it's a pretty likely course that she'll take once she realizes that she can no longer suck her audience dry like a vampire, once they all stop watching, which she is rapidly getting close to that point. I never caught up with the full depth of the Illuminati situation. All I know is that I've never seen a channel go from as popular as she is to where she is now. So she must have done some really deplorable stuff. I know it started when she accused Legal Eagle of plagiarizing her editing style, got biblically fucking clowned on for it, and then from there a ton of people came forward revealing how toxic and mean she is behind the scenes. And then she recently had a whole special segment in H-Bomber's video on plagiarism. And then she also got an entire video from H-Bomber specifically on her plagiarism, because all the shit she does is basically lifted from articles or documentaries. But other than that, I haven't dove into the 5 or 6 hours worth of cumulative trash she has done. It's a lot. But what's very interesting is she still continues posting as if nothing happened. So I wanted to all she did was turn off comments, and she just puts her head down and grinds, ignoring all of it. What if it's another AI YouTuber? That, I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like if anyone's gonna try and replace themselves with AI, it'll be Illuminati at this point, because her name is mud. She is ruined. Nobody supports her. So she would definitely stand to benefit from buying Kwebbelkop's AI Keys to the Kingdom and make herself an AI tuber. It's Sunny V2 with a voice changer. Yeah. Yeah, I'll make you a prediction. Here's what I think. I think Illuminati will continue this trajectory for maybe 6 more months tops. After that, she's going to start another channel using an AI voice model in order to keep doing these same kind of videos, but start fresh and hope people don't connect her to it. That's my guess. Because before all of this came to light, she was getting 100 to 300k views per video. Then everyone learned that she's an absolute insufferable person that's done horrible things, apparently. And now no one watches her. But if she did the same shtick with an AI voice on a fresh channel, she'd probably get away with it. Like I just said, it is so much to cover. I never even took the full plunge. It's just, she's this reoccurring villain. Every 3 weeks or so, there's new information about something fucked up she's done or is doing. It's this constant snowball that never runs out of snow, gathering steam. Better for her to just call Saul. Nah, she's gonna need to get herself a Hoover. She's gotta relocate and disappear. Like I said, my prediction, I really do stand by it. I think she will probably in 6 months' time make a new channel, AI voice, make the exact same content, and just start fresh. So go ahead and clip it. Make sure you remember my prediction, because I stand by it. I really think she's going to be one of the first YouTubers other than Kwebbelkop who is going to try to go entirely AI video based. That is the direction I think she is going. So let it be known, if that happens, I called it. I'll hit you with an I told you so. That's really bold. They're the ones that have the satisfying conclusion of the good guys winning in the end against evil, overcoming insurmountable odds to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat in a miraculous triumph. But we don't live in those stories, we live in cringe, so that's not always the case here in reality. And a haunting reminder of that fact is what just happened with Friendly Jordies. Friendly Jordies is an Australian YouTuber whom I've covered on the channel multiple times. I truly believe he is one of the best investigative journalists in the world, period. With no exaggeration, he risks his life to serve the community and inform them of corruption that it's gone unchecked, and his reward for this is his house being firebombed and his life being threatened multiple times. And these aren't the kind of death threats that you see all the time on Twitter where a 13-year-old anime fan gets upset if you say you don't like something about their favorite show. These are death threats from an organized group of criminals with a very scary history and a track record of already trying to murder Jordan Shanks, Friendly Jordies. They fucking firebombed his house. Well, actually, they firebombed his neighbor's house because the absolute goobers got it wrong the first time and then came back to try and finish the job by firebombing his actual residence. So they have already tried to take his life before. That's some shit that you only see in like espionage, blockbuster Hollywood films, and yet Friendly Jordies is living through it right now because New South Wales is so unbelievably corrupt that it's festering in the public eye. And yet the authorities that are supposed to protect and look out for the public safety are just closing their eyes and plugging their ears to all of this unfolding in front of them. It's despicable. It seems New South Wales is more corrupt than Gotham at this point. Friendly Jordies yesterday posted a video where he had to publicly admit defeat at the hands of this corruption, unfortunately.
You might have noticed that we haven't been releasing videos after the police arrested a suspect for the firebombing of my house. While we're very grateful for their persistence throughout this ordeal, we felt it would be prudent to see what the response would be from certain individuals.
If you haven't kept up with the lore here, I'll give you the previously on Dragon Ball Z recap. They did finally make an arrest on one of the suspects responsible for the firebombing of his house. It took about a year, but better late than never. Rather be tardy to the party than not show up at all. At least it's seeming like crime won't pay. They won't get away with this, right? Wrong! Idiot! Stupid! Can you stop sipping on your moron potion for a second? Put the stupid juice down? Of course the criminals are gonna get away with it, because I guess that's just the way things go in New South Wales. At least when it comes to criminals of this caliber. The very powerful ones, who are just seemingly above the law.
Their response has been one of rather perplexing confidence. Buoyed by the lack of further arrests, they have decided to be much more blunt with their requests, threatening anyone they believe had handed over information to assist with the creation of the video Coronation. This video detailed links former Deputy Premier John Barilaro had with development company Coronation Property. The video encompassed more than Coronation Property Associates. It included an array of spirited characters, many of whom were enraged with its release. Police have made it very clear that many of the prime suspects in the firebombing are in that video.
The video he's talking about here is a video Friendly Jordies and his team released called Coronation, and this shit was so hot it'd leave the toilet bowl steaming. It was massive. Friendly Jordies and his team released a firebomb of their own with this one here. Coronation highlights a lot of horrible things going on with a lot of very scary and powerful people doing bad shit. And they were not happy that this video got posted, and it put a target on Friendly Jordies' back. Really, it put the target right on his fucking forehead, right on his noggin, because this was a big deal. It caused a lot of ripples, and it made him public enemy number one of this group of people.
Now, over a year later, these figures are once again venting, threatening dire consequences if the video isn't taken down. Given these people's colourful history, we don't consider these to be idle threats. Naturally, we contacted the appropriate authorities, but it appears these men have engulfed the state in a state of fear. It appears these men are indeed above the law. It appears these men are free to point the scythe at anyone they wish, blackmail them with the most heinous, violent acts imaginable, and there is not an authority in the land powerful enough, or perhaps foolhardy enough, to check them.
Just tragic. Where do you go when the authorities abandon you? What are you supposed to do when the people that are supposed to protect you refuse to, because the people that are coming after you are stronger than them and out of their reach, just untouchable? What can you possibly do besides just comply?
But if the content of Coronation is to fall on willfully deaf ears, if its only tangible result is the death of innocent people, we will not have their lives hang on our conscience. In other words, you win. We're taking down the video. Congratulations, you run this city.
It's sad because it's such an important piece of investigative journalism, but it's also the only choice they could make in this situation. This isn't a group that's making idle threats. They have already firebombed twice, and they have a history of doing a lot more. as was highlighted by Jordy's and his team. So they did the only thing they could when faced against this enemy. They just complied. They took down that video. Now, of course, since it's the internet, nothing's ever really gone forever in this cyberspace, except of course for all my old YouTube videos I deleted when I was a teenager because I was embarrassed of them and worried that the copyrighted music would cause a problem, so I deleted them in like 2012. And I desperately want those videos back, but they can't be reclaimed. Those are the only things in the entire documented history of the World Wide Web that are apparently just fucking poofed out of existence forever and can't be brought back. But aside from that, nothing else has ever really gone forever. There's always re-upload, there's always archives of it. So in this case, Coronation, the video that he had to take down, is re-uploaded 1,000 times already. So it's not like completely dead and buried or anything like that. And I saw a lot of people saying this could actually, start the Streisand effect here on this and have even more eyes on this group, which I guess is possible, but I think the big victory for them is that they've shown that they can kind of bully and strong-arm anyone with impunity. They can't be touched by authorities. They just have this green light to do whatever they want with no repercussions, so they're able to force Geordies to take down a video they didn't like. And they're just demonstrating that power here, and I think that's kind of what they were aiming to do. Not so much shut down the information, because I'm sure they knew that this was just going to be re-uploaded, but it's just kind of letting Geordies and pretty much everyone else know that they can do what they want. And it's very fucking scary, just how powerful they are. Being a real investigative journalist has to be one of the most dangerous things you can do. I've mentioned this a few times before, but this isn't like the only example of this happening to an investigative journalist. It just happens to be one of the few times that happens to be a YouTuber as well. So more people are made aware of what's going on. One of the biggest ones that I always go to is the Panama Papers, if any of you remember that. The Panama Papers were a massive deal for about a day. And then collectively, the whole world stopped talking about it mysteriously, even though the Panama Papers were quite alarming. And one of the lead investigative journalists behind the Panama Papers released was actually killed in a car bomb, and nobody ever talked about it. I bet most of you didn't even know that. Anytime I bring that up, I'm met with question marks in my stream chat. Investigative journalism is a dangerous thing to get into. So I have nothing but the utmost respect for the ones that do take this on to try and help their community and keep everyone informed and safe and let everyone know what's going on, so that way people can be more aware. So what Geordies and his team do, I think, is extremely important work, and they are very, very good at it. So it's just really upsetting to see them have to admit defeat at the hands of this corruption they've been fighting against. And it's downright shameful from the authorities in New South Wales for their refusal to do anything about this. But yeah, anyway, Clum came out of nowhere from the top turnbuckle, delivering a flying elbow drop that no one was expecting. Fresh off the battle bus, he deployed a cinematic experience that really kind of took the internet by storm. A professional, extraordinary documentary on Boogie 2988. And since then, it'd been radio silence. But there were some whispers and some information floating around about his next project that he was hard at work on, a documentary covering EDP 445, Eat That Pussy 445. And now, it's here. Well, the trailer is. He just dropped the trailer for it, The Sick Mind of EDP, and the full documentary is scheduled for August 9th. And I'm gonna spill the beans here, cat's out of the bag. I've seen the whole thing. Not only have I seen the entirety of the documentary, I've even seen the fucking Snyder Cut version of it, of things that didn't make it. It is legitimately unbelievable. And to be clear, this isn't a documentary that just aims to slopify a criminal, which EDP is. And he openly admits to, I think it was like close to 20 crimes throughout the entirety of the documentary. It might have been more. He himself openly admits to tons of crimes. And the documentary isn't just like a piece of entertainment to point and laugh at EDP. It tells the whole story and showcases the dangerously delusional, violent predator that he is, and brings in like professionals to also talk about it as well. It's not just like this, goofy piece or anything. It is covering a genuinely dangerous, evil person. Like, I really wouldn't be surprised for renewed interest from the authorities after this documentary comes to light here, because I'm not kidding or exaggerating. He brazenly admits to so many crimes, confirming his intent behind so many things in regards to children. Like, I don't know how these things could just be ignored by authorities when he himself is just fucking bragging about it and going into detail on all of it. So that way there's no confusion or guesswork or anything. There's even a section where Mike talks to like a lawyer about all of this and like, hey, what would you say to EDP? And immediately he says, stop doing the documentary, shut the fuck up.
So what advice would I give to EDP 445? You need to stop doing this documentary.
That's a piece of it, but he was expressing confusion that he would even agree to do this because he is just outwardly admitting to all of these crimes, remorse with no remorse, like even just casually talking about his crimes and like his intent and everything. It is shocking, like genuinely, like I'm not using that as like a buzzword. It was shocking to watch this. And Mike Klum financed this entire thing out of his own pocket for the better part of 2 years. And the quality here, it's indistinguishable from like the biggest budget documentaries that you'll find, like Netflix documentaries. It's an incredible work here. Like this is his magnum opus. Like this was a 2.5 year-ish project, and the work that went into it, man, the thousands of hours, it shows. I really wouldn't be surprised if EDP does end up in handcuffs after this premieres. Like, I know that's probably like really, over the top to even think something like that's a possibility, but when you watch this documentary, you'll see what I mean. He openly talks about his crimes that he got away with, and the documentary doesn't pull any punches or shy away from it. Mike Klum shows you all of it, and EDP himself doesn't shy away from it. He admits to all of it numerous times. Some crimes I didn't even know he'd committed, he talks about. I just don't know how the local law enforcement would plug their ears and shield their eyes to it. Like, he openly brags about it. You'll always remember this day you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow, and he just keeps going on and on and on about all of these crimes. Like, he's not a ghost, he's not fucking DB Cooper. He is proudly talking about it, bragging about it. So, like, to me, it feels like there should be like a subsequent investigation from the local law enforcement at the very least to look into EDP here about all of this shit that is documented and that he talks about as well. But I also really appreciate that Mike Klum is using this documentary to benefit victims of sexual violence. The money that is being raised through this documentary is going directly to RAIN, which is a charity to help victims of sexual violence, which I thought was just such a nice gesture. I think that's just extraordinary. So Mike Klum spent 2.5 years on this, financed out of his own pocket to deliver this masterpiece documentary here, and the money is helping people that could really benefit from it. RAIN is a great charity, and I think that's just super nice. Anyway, though, I've been yapping a lot about it. Let me show you a little bit more of the trailer here. I highly recommend you go check out the whole thing. He has the premiere scheduled if you want to, save a tab for it so you don't miss it.
Fucking a bitch's innocence away,
Why do you think you wanted to have sex with a 13-year-old?
I mean, the reason why I wanted to have sex with a 13-year-old is already fucking clear.
I have to interject here. I can't resist. It's like an itch I have to scratch because I now that I can yap about it, it's hard not to yap about it because the things EDP says and does throughout this documentary are incomprehensible. I do not think any of you are, you couldn't even fathom like what is in the documentary here. So like that little clip right there where he says verbatim the reason why he wanted to have sex with a 13-year-old is pretty fucking clear. He says shit like that throughout the documentary numerous times with no shame whatsoever. He is just openly talking about it. Like, just openly talking about it. And he, like, the things he agrees to do, like, the shots of him in the orange jumpsuit behind bars and stuff like that. He just actually wanted to do all that. Like, there's a scene in here as well where they're outside of, like, a real prison with him in the jumpsuit. There's a scene where he digs his own grave. Like, it really is a fucking sick mind. Like, EDP is, like, yes, it is, like, become a source of, like, goofs and gags to, like, point and laugh at EDP, but it's important to remember, like, he actually is, like, a dangerous man. Like, he actually is
like a fucking filthy degenerate man who is a very not safe person to be around. And there are so many things in this documentary that make that abundantly clear. Now, in the version that we saw when Mike brought it to us at the farm, it was the raw version, and it couldn't exist on YouTube in that form. So I have no doubt that it's gone through some changes so that way it can stay on the platform. But in the version that we watched, even off rip, like one of the first scenes is Mike and EDP are in a car, EDP's driving, they stop, and then there's some kids outside on the sidewalk nearby because there's a school, and just totally unprompted, out of nowhere, EDP just starts talking really creepily about those children. Like, this is a dangerous predator. And there are multiple instances where he just goes on these fucking monologues, like these sexual-fueled monologues about like some unhinged, gross shit. Another thing that becomes very clear in the documentary is his infatuation with the idea of violence. He talks multiple times, a lot really, about how close he is to killing people, like the people he wants to murder. He is glued to the idea of violence. Like, this is an unstable, evil, sick predator. And something Mike did that I thought was a really good idea is he brings in like professionals to talk about EDP as well in the documentary and present through it, like that lawyer you heard from a moment ago. And I think that adds a lot to the overall documentary. He also has like recreations of his childhood using actors and stuff, which was a pretty wild endeavor to go through here, to like actually hire actors for the documentary, which is why he's calling it a cinematic experience there, because it is like a cinematic experience going through like his history, but it is one that is aiming to tell the story of this dangerous man who has got away with unthinkable shit. And I'm hopeful that this will lead to at least some kind of reinvigorated interest in the case of EDP from the authorities, hopefully, fingers crossed. And at the very least, at least it's benefiting victims of sexual violence through the money that it's raising for RAINN. Anyway, I wanted to yap about this a bit since I saw the trailer went up today. I cannot wait for August 9th for it to drop. Mike Klum really did outdo himself, man. This is a pretty unbelievable documentary.
I just wanted to quickly toss my nutsack into this wiener pile with this war between YouTube and the Wall Street Journal. I wanted to explain to everyone why everyone's rightfully mad at Wall Street Journal, but also the real person behind the advertisers leaving YouTube isn't Wall Street Journal. It's this man right here. Here's the puppet master, Eric Feinberg, or Feinberg. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it, but it doesn't matter because either way, I can do a play on words with it. Brace yourself. Here's Eric Everything's Not Feinberg on YouTube, or Eric Baron Fein Bears. Well, shit, that one didn't come out as well as I thought it would in my head. But regardless, he's the man pulling the strings, really. But first, before I talk about him, I want to talk about why everyone hates the Wall Street Journal right now. So, I'm sure most of you remember when they attacked PewDiePie, calling him a Nazi, just taking everything out of context and spinning obvious satire into sincere racism. And that blew up in their face. Most people saw that as horrible journalism and just a hit piece, which it truly was. But what this did is it showed the power Wall Street Journal possesses in the industry, because when they made that piece, PewDiePie lost Disney sponsorships, lost his show, he lost a lot of shit. So what this showed to Wall Street Journal is they have a lot of pull in this industry. And since YouTube is taking a lot of the old media audience, they wanted to fight back and try and retain that group, so they're going to paint this platform as a horrible racist platform and just where scum exists, which scares advertisers off of it. It's nothing new. It's the same tactic from when radio was losing its audience to television. You know, you demonize your competition so that way the audience stays with you. That's exactly what the Wall Street Journal has been doing by going to the advertisers and saying how bad this platform is and how all of their ads are on racist videos. Nothing but racism exists on YouTube. So, understandably, advertisers don't want to be associated with that, so they pull off of YouTube. Now, obviously, anyone that goes on YouTube knows that's not the case. However, it does point out a legitimate problem with YouTube. There is no screening for what advertisements get placed on what videos. There is some extremist and racist videos on YouTube that do have advertisements before them, and that's the fault of YouTube for not having a better system in place to prevent that from happening. Now, this is where Eric Fuckboy comes into play. What Eric has done is he's found a way to locate every single racist, extremist, homophobic, just awful video in existence on YouTube with ads in it. He found a way to track them, and what he's done is he's been able to present that to these advertisers and also hold Google hostage because he's patented his technique for finding these videos with the ads on them. Now, this would actually be a really righteous and very good cause if he wasn't such a dickbag. He's fucking literally holding his patented technology ransom. Google will have to pay him millions of dollars in order to find these videos with these racist, extremist content and ads playing on it. What this would do is if they could actually cut off the advertisements on those videos, that would remove a source of income for these horrible organizations. But this man doesn't really care. He's trying to flaunt around like he's some type of vigilante with this incredible technology, but what he's doing is he's just asking for money, otherwise he's going to keep it to himself. And with his patent, the way he has it set up, he says there's pretty much no way YouTube could find a workaround for doing the same thing his shit does. So he's just going to keep holding on to these videos and letting these terrorist organizations profit off of YouTube. Now this certainly doesn't sound like a hero to me. I must have missed the issues of Batman where he charges Gotham for his work. He's also an extremely narcissistic asshole. His Facebook has thousands of friends, but no one comments on any of his posts except for him to pat himself on the back. His Twitter feed was dead until a couple of days ago where he starts saying, oh, it's weird how advertisers are pulling off of YouTube. This is the man that's responsible for this huge exodus of advertisers, and he's a true fucking douchebag. So while the outrage at the Wall Street urinal is definitely justifiable, we're missing the biggest villain in this situation here. He paints himself as some old school heroic action man, extreme turbo avenger of the YouTube internet age, but really he's just a money hungry human catheter who managed to solve a problem YouTube's been having for a while and is now charging a huge amount for the solution. And while he's holding on to this solution, he's also trying to pressure YouTube into just giving in and buying his shit by releasing these screenshots and sharing this information with the videos and the advertisements to the advertising agency, so they pull out and back YouTube into a corner, so that way they're forced to play ball with this rectal thermometer. But yeah, I just wanted to make this to help people understand why the Wall Street Journal is coming under fire, and hopefully the Wall Street Journal will crumble and just burn to the fucking ground. But I also wanted to show who the real bad guy in this situation is. Now I want to make this clear, I don't think he's a bad guy for solving this problem or charging for the solution. I feel he should have the right to charge for his hard work here. I think he's a scrotal hair for two main reasons. One, he didn't just patent his way of solving the problem, he patented every single possible approach YouTube could take to attacking this problem themselves, leaving him as the only one with the solution and the only one that could possibly have a solution according to him. The second reason being, he keeps sending screenshots of these videos with the ads to the company so that way they'll pull off of YouTube and make YouTube more likely to buy his product, which is hurting everyone on the website right now. So yeah, Eric, if you're watching this, go fuck yourself. And Wall Street Journal, if you're watching this, also go fuck yourself. I remember Quebblecop from a very long time ago. This guy used to be like one of the biggest when it comes to like gameplay videos and shit. And I hadn't thought of him in years. And I saw Sonny post this and just kept forgetting to watch it. And then as I was peeing, I saw it come up again. So I really want to see what happened. I checked his channel. Like, he still gets
April
like views. He has an audience, but I would wager a guess he's lost like 90% or 95% of his total viewer base. Because he used to average like 1 mil per video. He used to upload pretty much the exact same videos, and I guess something must have happened along the way. Because god damn.
5 million views. Oof. In the space of only 12 months, Quebblecop's viewership has fallen by roughly 90%. And we're going to outline every...
That's what I speculated. I'm pretty good at eyeballing that kind of shit.
I'm a YouTuber. I want to know more YouTubers. I want to get to know all the YouTubers. I want my friends to be YouTubers or people that are doing similar stuff.
God, that sounds miserable. I don't know why people would only want to be surrounded by like-minded people. I can't stand that perspective. I think it's becoming more and more prevalent where people only want to be friends with everyone that shares the exact same opinions of them, and they can't be friends with people that think differently. Like, why would you want to be around people that are just like in the same career path, the same fucking thoughts as you, basically just like a goddamn clone of yourself? That sounds miserable. just to always be locked in your own little echo chamber of sycophantic yes men. Like, it's just, ugh. I think that'd just be miserable. I really do.
Evident after forming a YouTube trio known as Robust, which included Kwebbelkop alongside 2 other familiar faces, Jelly and Slogo Man. Count of Kwebbelkop, Jelly, and Slogo being the best piece of evidence for the success they'd find as a trio. In addition to—
How are the other 2 doing? Before we go on, I don't know the other 2. I haven't heard of Jelly or Slogo. Let's take a peek.
April 2000.
Let's see if it's just Kwebbelkop. Oh, it's all of them. Holy shit. 23 million, he gets about the same views as Kwebbelkop, who's on a 90% decline. Actually, less than Kwebbelkop. So it really just must be a thing of, like, the games aren't as popular anymore, unless they really did something that ruined them. So far, out of the 3 of them, it seems like Slogo's doing the best. People grow up. True. That's a big problem with making kids content. Your audience grows up, like, pretty quickly. I feel like things you watch when you're 14, you stop watching by the time you're, like, 16, maybe. But there's always going to be new kids coming into the mix. So you would always expect it to constantly, like, refresh itself, but I guess sometimes it just doesn't. Or, again, maybe something happened with this whole group. Not far enough, I was just curious. Kind of skipping ahead here in the manga.
Only, ensuring that the one daily video was always of the highest quality.
Every day I worked on it. Every day I studied it. I watched tutorials. I read articles. I spoke to people. I practiced, and every day
I mean, did you really need to? Like, what articles are you reading and what tutorials? Like, did you sign up for Jake Paul's seminar on how to be a YouTuber? Because this is all, like, really standard stuff. Unbeatable GTA 5, you lap, you lose. Fortnite vs. real life challenge. Saddest Fortnite, try not to cry. I mean, like, he didn't need to really invest into the education side of YouTubing. He kind of just went with whatever was on the Explore tab.
For the audience.
I was making videos that my audience loved watching, right? So I asked myself, what does my audience love the most?
Each of those clips from Kwebbelkop's discussion on the
Legitimately
Watchtime podcast also displayed just how switched on he was in terms of personal development and the correct attitude required in order to grow a successful YouTube channel. So if he had the correct attitude and mindset in order, why after 5 years of gaining an extremely consistent 100 million views per month, did this number drop to between 5 and 15 million over the course of only a year? Woman, please respect our privacy, thank you, which was accompanied by a video approximately 1 year later, conveniently just
pretty good post about it, I suppose.
Explaining the reason behind their breakup.
Why did you guys break up? Well, as you guys might know, I'm from Amsterdam, the Netherlands, and Azzy is from Canada. And it was a long distance relationship. Once the honeymoon phase was over, we realized that we're 2 people from completely different places.
However, it would still be a little far-fetched to blame Kwebbelkop's decline in viewership on nothing but this separation. Sure, he had one.
Didn't they live together? Weird spot to pause this. Didn't they live together? I thought I vaguely recalled them living together. Like, long distance for 3.5 years. I mean, that's got to be a world record. Honestly, they should be very proud of that. Making that work for 3.5 years. That's a good run then. No shame there. 3.5 years on long distance. Fuck me, you made history.
After 5 years of filming together, the robust trio being Kwebbelkop, Jelly, and Slogo would also slowly disintegrate.
Oh no!
Instead of playing with Geordie, who was busy making various Why I Left Jelly and Slogo, explaining that—
That's the exact same thumbnail from the Azzy breakup. This man only has one sad face? Come on! You studied articles, you read books or whatever about YouTubing. You've got to switch up the crying thumbnail. This one should have at least had like one of these, maybe like the shocked face. Like, you can't keep reusing this shit, Kwebbelkop. I see what's gone wrong here. Unbelievable.
That as a result of making video after video with the group, each of which following a similar narrative, Kwebbelkop felt as though he wasn't growing due to a lack of creativity.
I saw that my creativity was running out. I was just doing things with the group. I was going into that direction. I realized that I stopped growing as a person.
He then began
I don't think it was the group.
YouTuber going by the name of Tiger, yet this would also end in another bit of drama.
Oh, no.
Me and Kwebbelkop got into a fight, and after this fight, I was pretty much left with nothing.
Kwebbelkop found Tiger when he was still a small cop, offered guidance and growth to Tiger in exchange for part or full ownership of the channel.
I'm like, this guy could be a really big YouTuber. if I would coach him a little bit. He has so much talent.
Now, this went exactly as planned in the beginning. They started playing together.
Okay, that's kind of fucked up. I've never heard of something like that.
2 million views per month to 20 million views per month. Titled Why I Left Kwebbelkop and Tiger.
Man, they're getting so much mileage out of this crying face from Kwebbelkop. That shit is being used and abused in every single fucking thumbnail here ever. My god. I will say though, one of his reasons for leaving that group is because he couldn't be as creative as he wanted to be. Well, I'm glad he did that, because now creativity is the number one thing I get when looking at the channel here. Look at all these. Content he's never made before. He was really able to unlock his magnum opus of creation here. They really held him back. Now he's spread his wings like a beautiful butterfly.
I can't.
But he was no longer friends.
Why? Do it.
Everyone is asking the same thing. Why are you not uploading to Tiger, and what happened between you and Kwebbelkop? Well, guys, it essentially boils down to one thing, and that is that me and Kwebbelkop are actually no longer friends. I feel hurt. I feel disappointed.
That somehow Kwebbelkop had claimed ownership over Tiger's channel, as he would upload a video where he had cloned Tiger's voice and attached it to an AI, which would provoke another response from Tiger, who was once again insulted by Geordie's actions.
He made this cartoon character, loaned my voice, and put it on the Tiger channel. Listen, Geordie, this cartoon version of you might be your best friend, but I'm not your best friend, okay? I'm not even your friend.
And after Tiger...
That's wild. Hold on, I want to see that. So he did a VTuber for this now? Oh, Liger.
In today's...
Oh wait, no, this is his new channel. Oh, I must have deleted the other one. Man made a VTuber and an AI speech pattern for him? Bro, that's evil genius right there. That's Galaxy Brain. What is the channel down? Does anyone know for sure? Okay, you're right. It just didn't come up from typing in Tiger. I wonder why.
Today will be...
Okay. It looks like he's not doing it anymore. He must have deleted the video.
In decline wasn't the drama itself, but rather one discovery made by Geordie throughout the conflict with Tiger, being that he could make an AI character to act as a real person. Was per day. I wished I could clone myself, so I did. What Kwebbelkop is referring to in this Twitter thread is a channel he launched 1 month after the drama with Tiger, which posts gaming videos and uses an AI character as the main personality within the videos. Second channel.
Okay.
But when looking at the numbers,
VTubing.
it's obvious that this new AI...
Starting today, from now on, you can expect my next video to be top notch, to be really
and he delivered.
flipping good, to be exactly
Yes.
what you want to see.
Yet the first 3...
Fuck yes! Yes! And this is what I wanted to see! Upgrading the slowest to fastest animal in GTA 5! Whee! I've always wanted to know!
$10,000 dog, then him bragging about his custom orange G.
$10,000 dog? What did this man buy? Goddamn Chimera? What kind of dog is 10 grand? Okay, so then he started flexing, okay? That's always the signs of insecurity and desperation coming in.
Wagon, then him bragging about his $7.5 million penthouse apartment.
Welcome to my $7.5 million penthouse tour. Let's see if this video can hit 100,000 likes.
And it's just like...
Did it work? 6 months ago.
Welcome to...
Fuck! What is Kwebbelkop's community called? His audience? Cops and robbers? What are you doing? Only 35K? Now we'll never get to see more of his $7.5 million penthouse. Quebble flops. Whoa! A piano with a Star Wars blaster poking out. What is this? A telescope? What the fuck is this? This golden gun thing. I'm just taking a brief tour here, if you don't mind. Oh man, look at all those fragrances. Ah, Terre de Hermes. This one's a replica. This one's not even the original. Okay, pour much? Yikes. Not even authentic. Why is this the most replayed? Because of this jar of urine? Oh, it's actually not this. It's the shower. You perverts. You Quebble flops. Ew. Perverts. I wanted to see him take a shower. Have some respect.
Why would you post this, dude? Not only have you stated in the past that you apparently don't do YouTube for the money.
I don't care about making an extra buck on YouTube. I don't care about the money. I really genuinely do not do YouTube for the money.
But do you really think the audience wants to open up the YouTube app and instantly see something that makes them feel inferior to you? Do you think new viewers on
I feel like a part of the family.
Video section as products stems from a specific inclination to re-establish power, which might explain Kwebbelkop's motive to upload these off-brand videos.
You just got analyzed on that one, Kwebbelkop. That is super true, though. You see this shit happen a lot with, I guess not necessarily streamers, because I don't think there's any, like, big streamers that have fully fallen off yet. But I've seen this on YouTube a few times with some of the big boys. Take, for example, like, Rice Gum. Though most of his content was built around flexing from the start, it obviously only had a shelf life of however many years he was on there for. I don't even remember now. But this kind of, like, flexing is always, like, in the death throes of that creator's channel. Happens all the time.
Channel. In a recent video titled My $100 Million GTA 5 Business in Real Life, which sports a similar kind of vibe to the apartment tour, Kwebbelkop talks about how he's also launched an NFT business and is working on a video game, potentially fracturing his focus from YouTube even further. As mentioned earlier,
oh my god. No way.
Kwebbelkop is
no fucking way. He's in NFTs? Bro, this has to be like the last adopter of NFTs right now.
Years ago, in day. At one point, things were going so well that Tiger said, you know what, I want to do things myself. Well,
I just watched Sonny's video there. That's not really what happened. You guys just, you had a falling out. You guys aren't really like friends anymore, it seems. It wasn't necessarily a, you were too good. You guys were too good. I'm gonna try it on my own.
I still had the channel, which was dead at this point in time. So I said, well, if I want to continue the dream, if I want to build tons and tons and tons of channels that will flourish and shine forever, we need to remove the human element. Yes, it sounds crazy, but we need robots, we need computers.
That's spoken like a man who really cares about the content. If I'm to own 5 million channels, I realize the weakest link is the goddamn human. Organic is cringe. Machines are the way I do it. So I hired this entire team to build VTubers with AI scripts. To pump out as much shit as I possibly can across 1,000 channels.
We need VTubers. And that's when Blue was born. And this is the Blue team. A few of the Blue you'll never find out. We have a team which makes videos as a virtual influencer. If we want to start more channels, we can. We just start a brand new team who goes and makes videos as this influencer, as this virtual influencer. And you can start as many channels as you want because they all function under the same brand. It's like Spider-Man, okay? There's so many different Spider-Mans.
Why do you view that as a good thing? Why do you view this situation as a good thing? I mean, for you, I get it because it's a lot of money, owning all those channels and all the ad revenue. But as someone who keeps presenting himself as a guy who doesn't care about the money and does it for good content, how can you possibly sit here and try and convince your audience of Kwebbelflops that this is a good thing? Just 1 million channels of completely soulless, generated scripts. This is so shameless. Holy shit.
Huge risk if you invest a lot of money, and if one person leaves, the entire business collapses.
Like, he's convincing his audience that people are the problem.
It's about me. I'm running a business with I don't know how many employees. Anywhere from 50 to 100 employees work here. I'm providing jobs. I'm building cool products. I'm making people's days better. And this all started
what a weird spin on it.
Having a dream. Now
That's such a weird spin. Where's the NFT portion? I must have skipped it somewhere. I thought it was going to be like the focal point, but it's not. It's actually much worse than that. The focal point is I'm going to make 1,000 AI YouTube channels in order to really fucking pump out content and ad revenue, which is actually worse than NFTs. So where was it in the video? Alright. Dear Launch My NFT supporters, over 6 months ago, we launched a platform that helped thousands of people create and launch their own NFT collections. With over 1 million unique wallet addresses who use the platform, it's an understatement to call it a success. How hype. What a saint. What an absolute saint. Man, this one's doing numbers, Quebblecop. 37 likes, 12 likes, 10, 9. Woo-wee! To call that a success would be an understatement. Oh, he's stepping away. Oh, hold on, let me finish reading this. What happened? Was started as a hobby project, very quickly turned into a daily job. Working on the project was extremely challenging and new. Meeting so many enthusiastic Web3 supporters was my favorite thing about it. Also very happy that I was able to inspire so many individuals and help thousands of people to creating their own Web3 project. During these past months, I realized how much more the Web3 and metaverse space needs to grow before we can actually live in it. A lot needs to be built. This future we all dream about needs to be realized, else it'll stay a dream forever. This is why I'm stepping away from Launch My NFT. I have a lot of faith in my team, and I'm certain that the future for the project is bright, in all honesty. They don't need me anymore. Thank you to everyone who I've worked alongside. It was fantastic. Thank you for everything. Let's turn this metaverse into a reality. Let's take a peek. How's Launch My NFT doing? The largest NFT launchpad. It's so weird. Every single NFT adjacent site claims that they are the largest. 11K followers on Twitter. They might very well be the largest. God damn. Oh, that's a pretty wholesome comment. Oh, you can't. Oh, no, you can read it. I thought my webcam was blocking it for a sec. Hey, he took it on the chin like a champ. He wrote that comment from his spa. Yeah, let's not kid ourselves. I don't think that was actually him that wrote that. That was absolutely Blue or one of the other AI-generated content creators. But if it was actually Quebblecop, word YouTuber, they immediately just let out a sigh or an eye roll. It's not exactly a career that everyone has a lot of respect for or is viewed all that positively by everybody. And it's not hard to understand why. The only profession with a more negative reputation than YouTubers is telemarketers, and it's pretty close. That's a tight squeeze there. Now, with millions of YouTubers on the platform, of course, there's obviously going to be some bad apples in the bunch, but that doesn't mean it's all rotten. And to prove it, I'd like to present to you a champion. This is a channel that I believe goes to infinity and beyond to deliver not only extremely high quality, entertaining content, but also extremely important work as well. It could make even the Grinch's heart grow 3 sizes, and also leave that little bastard terrified, cowering in fear, trembling in a corner if he has ever done anything shady or corrupt in his past. Because I swear, Friendly Jordies would get to the bottom of it and blast that ass on the big screen. Friendly Jordies is the channel we're going to be talking about today. It's run by a man named Jordan Shanks, or as many of you probably know him from the Wiki Alpha community, Jordan Sex Money Shanks. And he actually has an entire team of equally ripped immortal alpha deities that are all united by a single goal: to expose corruption in all of its forms and make a mockery out of evil people. That's not exactly the safest mission to embark on here. This is playing life on ultra nightmare mode, really, because he doesn't just go for low-hanging fruit. He targets some of the most nefarious, shady, corrupt organizations and people throughout all of Australia. And he does more than just Australia, but he is from the land down under, so a lot of his content and investigations have been focused on Australia, but has recently branched out into covering some of the most fucked up situations that even I've never heard of before, such as one of his most recent pieces of content called Paradise Bombed, where Jordies and his team covered a disgusting, tragic situation that unfortunately does involve bombing of completely innocent people. And in the very first frame of this video, this is one of Jordy's team members holding a bomb. Like a goddamn corn on the cob. He's just manhandling a bomb while talking about the situation that's going on. I highly recommend watching this video in particular. It's not only an extremely eye-opening story they cover and an extremely sad one, but it also shows you just how seriously they take all of their investigations and just how thorough they'll be. They fucking went to the place getting bombed. Like, that is beyond, like, so far above and beyond what other journalists do these days, it's laughable. This isn't the first time I've talked about Friendly Jordies. In fact, it's far from it. Many of you have probably already heard me go full gushing granny mode over this guy and his team's content plenty of times in the past. And it's because I have such a deep admiration for the risk he takes doing it. It's, without an exaggeration, a hefty price he could pay with his life. Many of you might remember 9 months ago, his house got firebombed by some of the people that he was investigating, allegedly. His house got firebombed, but not only that, his neighbor's house got firebombed because the goddamn turbo Illuminati Cronenbergian homunculi that were trying to hunt down and execute Friendly Jordies couldn't quite figure out which of the two houses was Jordy's, so they ended up firebombing his neighbors, and then came back to try and finish the job by firebombing his house the following day. An actual attempt on his life. And you know how Jordy's responded to that firebomb? By making an absolute banger video following it up, going into all of the investigations and all of the potential culprits that could have been behind the firebomb attack. And that list is not short by any means. There is nothing but powerful heavy hitters on that list because of the investigations and reporting Friendly Jordies and his team do. And yet, even in the face of attempts on his life, he still keeps delivering extremely important reporting on all of these bad people. If that's not heroic journalism, then I really don't know what is. And another thing that's important to note is that he is constantly villainized, treated like a fucking demon by the media over there for some reason, even though what he's presenting is just immutable facts about awful people that most normal people are rallying behind him for and appreciative of. He and his team do great work, is the point I'm getting at, and it comes at a great cost to both his safety and the safety of his team. Jordan isn't the only member of his team that's been targeted by some powerful organizations. Another member of his team had a very famous incident where they were wrestled down and a lot of other bad things happening around them, arrested, investigated for like terrorism, all over a bunch of baloney. So I don't want to just keep diving into the extended lore of the Jordy's cinematic universe here, but I highly recommend that you do a deep dive on his content if any of this kind of journalism sounds appealing to you. But I think I'm doing it an injustice by just calling it journalism because it's a lot more than that. Not only is the investigation and the reporting extremely valuable, but the way he presents it is perfect. He and his team also spend a ton of time crafting really entertaining skits or going hog wild to commit to a bit. So in one of his investigations, he was, this is my favorite, he was doing a deep dive on everything related to a guy named John Barilaro. Eventually this culminated with him finding out that John Barilaro actually rents his very expensive property as an Airbnb. So Jordy's in this very public feud, this wasn't the first time he was investigating Barilaro, in a very public feud, a bunch of back and forth spitting on each other, Jordy's just books it for a little while, which has to be a massive security problem. John Barilaro was not some nobody, nothing burger of a person. He had so much fucking power, and he's just renting out his estate for anyone to go in and snoop.
A second house that's so big, it has a second and third house on it. Like Mars's 2 moons that just got attracted into its gravitational pull. And might I just say, those spare houses are real nice, Giovanni. Yeah, I'm talking directly to you now. Because as you've probably gathered, or haven't because you're that dumb, I'm filming at your estate. And I want you to be the first to know that I f***ed in both your guest houses.
Putting the fear of God in Barilaro right there. He'll never be able to have a peaceful night of sleep again, wondering if there's still Jordan Shanks' DNA just leaving a big old wet spot somewhere in there that hasn't been cleaned by as many assistants. It's amazing. Of an actual fucking just checkmate W move from Jordy's here. Just blowing him a kiss saying, Big McThankies from McShankies, I had sex in your guest houses, and Lord only knows what else went on within those walls. It's so entertaining, and yet presents an extremely important investigation about some fucked up shit. Like, he and his team do outstanding work. I can't stress it enough. And another journalist I've talked about a lot, who's also a YouTuber, is CoffeeZilla. I also very highly and often sing his praises. And you know what? CoffeeZilla and Friendly Jordies just did a collaboration. The two of them just investigated an Australian crypto scammer named Brian King Legend, which is the most beautiful Xbox Live gamer tag of a fake name ever. And together, the two of them tag teamed him and gave him a fucking full-blown spit roast. So the CoffeeZilla posted part 1 of that investigation, and Friendly Jordy's posted part 2. And in Jordy's investigation, he does something similar to what he did with Barilaro. He goes to try and directly confront the person that they've investigated to, you know, not only meme on them a bit, but also just try and talk to them about this whole thing. Try and understand how someone could be so fucking evil. This crypto scammer made off with tons and tons of money, oodles of doubloons, all at the expense of real, normal people that trusted him with thousands upon thousands of dollars in his crypto projects. Real victims losing real money, and a real evil douchebag making all of the money. And it's a great investigation. It's an absolute fucking slam dunk on this piece of shit, and it's very fucking entertaining. So I just really wanted to talk about Friendly Jordy's today because it is an example of a YouTuber I think that is just doing exceptional work that I think transcends just being a YouTuber. His reporting, his investigative journalism, and his style of presenting the information is entirely unique and super valuable. So in case anyone wasn't aware of him, I just wanted to just talk about it a bit. That's really it. I'm using past tense because according to a lot of people, it's already buried 6 feet under. There's been a lot of YouTube exclusive streamers over the last month or so that have announced that they're moving back to Twitch or that they're going to be multi-streaming now that their YouTube contracts are up. So the perception is that every YouTube streamer is basically just in purgatory, scratching at their neck, waiting to get back to Twitch. And it kind of has the same reputation Mixer did a long time ago, God rest its soul, where people that were previously on Twitch took a bag from YouTube, had a little paid vacation for a year or two, and then go back to Twitch eventually. And as a former full-time streamer on both platforms, I feel like I'm John Constantine, walking the line between worlds here. And I feel like I just have oodles of insight on this subject. Now, since I've entered my senile years, I have elected to go part-time, so you can hang that jersey in the rafters, or if you're a tier 3 sub on Twitch, you can go ahead and downgrade that puppy or just stop it altogether, because at this point it's kind of like the GameStop trade-in of value. You're not getting a whole lot of bang for your buck with how little I've been streaming recently. I did stream all weekend for the Apex Major in Germany. We were watch partying our squad. Absolutely fucking clapping cheeks out there. Just posted a video on that as well if you'd rather just watch like the condensed version. So it's a topic I really want to explore. And it turns out Ludwig already beat me to it, that rascal. So I kind of want to just go through his video and drop some more tiddlywinks of information about all of it.
Have you been noticing this trend where people who are signed to YouTube live streaming contracts, the day their contract ends, switch right back to Twitch or start multi-streaming?
Yeah, that's a phenomenon that's more common than the cold. You would be hard-pressed to find any Twitch streamers that switched to YouTube streaming and haven't already switched back over the last year or so to Twitch, or at the very least started multi-streaming on Twitch and YouTube. There are less of them than there is hair on my chest, and look at what we're working with here. Everyone seemingly that switched to YouTube streaming, either through YouTube contracts or through Twitch's fumbling over the last couple of years with like some policy changes as well as like some platform direction that people were upset with, have over the last year or so switched back because Twitch started to find their footing again with some of the changes and changing things around, like reverting a couple of things, as well as YouTube no longer doing streaming contracts. So it seems like everyone's flooding back to Twitch the second they can.
YouTube and YouTube Live not changing isn't because they move slow. It's because YouTube Live isn't a priority for YouTube. But your friends that went to YouTube are all coming back, Sushi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dan Clancy, cool as a cucumber here. I'm actually shocked he didn't have a cigar in his mouth delivering this little speech. Like, he's basically just dancing on the grave of YouTube's reputation in the public eye. There was a time when everyone, myself included, thought YouTube was going to be a real threat to Twitch's market share. Because Twitch has had the streaming ecosystem in a titty twister for years. They've had the nipple clamps on those honkers. And YouTube started to get a lot of momentum with streamers that were native to Twitch switching to YouTube even without a contract. But it seems most streamers grew tired of YouTube doing absolutely nothing besides letting the streaming element of their site wither, fester, and die. So pretty much all of them have switched back to Twitch at this point, except for the ones that are still under contract or banned from Twitch. But there was a moment where it really did seem like YouTube was encroaching on Twitch's stranglehold on the industry. And at the height of this, Dan Clancy was interviewed asking, Are they panicking? Are they worried about Twitch users switching to rival platforms? Is Twitch going to do anything to keep users and streamers on their site? It was also public knowledge at this time that Twitch had completely stopped doing contracts for even their biggest streamers. They just put the kibosh on contracts entirely. And Dan Clancy just said nope. In fact, he encouraged everyone to try alternatives. Like, if they want to stream on YouTube and Kick, go for it. Go hog wild. He said that he believed that all of them would be back to Twitch because he believed in the platform being the best that streaming had to offer. And it seems like his bet has paid off so far. Like Luigi, he won without having to do anything. It seems most streamers that went to other platforms are all starting to flock back to Twitch.
You know, when Myth ended his YouTube contract, I believe he took a break. He stopped streaming on YouTube. Lily, the moment her contract ended, switched back over to Twitch. Dr. Lupo, when his contract ended, started multi-streaming. I mean, shit, Tim the Tatman today said he was going to start multi-streaming on Twitch and YouTube. And look, his viewership is better on Twitch after 3 years, I think, on YouTube than it is right now on YouTube.
And that's a pretty crazy thing. So the perception and the fear for a lot of streamers was if they left Twitch, if they ever decided to come back, their viewership wouldn't be what it once was, or their sub count would be significantly lower. But time and time again, it seems like that's just not the case. Not just Tim the Tatman, but there's been other streamers that have gone to other platforms that have come back to Twitch and have been in pretty much the exact same spot that they left off in, no matter how many years had passed. Everybody knows when you switch platforms, your audience doesn't necessarily follow you. You're definitely not getting the whole kit and caboodle to come over to the new platform that you've come to. You're lucky to get like even a fraction of it. Like, yeah, you'll hit like huge peaks for the first couple of streams with people like, you know, trickling in just to check it out. But that audience you built up on the previous platform, they're most likely just going to go back to that because that's the platform they're most comfortable on. So if you're not on it, they'll probably just find another streamer and maybe they'll occasionally tune into you on the other platform. But for the most part, they don't get converted to the new platform that you've switched to. So with the example here, Tim the Tatman, he built up a YouTube streaming audience, and now that he went back to Twitch, that Twitch audience he used to have, it seems like they're still using Twitch and look to be receptive to Tim the Tatman being back on their preferred platform, so his viewership has kind of stayed pretty much the same there.
And nothing fucking changed. He's literally doing better on Twitch. And you might be wondering, okay, why are streamers switching back to Twitch? Well, one might be because they do better. They get more viewers. Two, it's because they also make more money.
I saw someone say sub count, by the way, earlier. I didn't answer it. I apologize. I'm not making up messages here. We are at 6.3.
Crowd, our game's over.
So you have an official number?
I'm joining up.
Probably closer to 6.5, if I had to guess.
And Tim basically says he got 6,500 subs in one single stream on Twitch, and on YouTube he had 14,000 subs. So he basically got almost half his subscriber count in one day. So he's going to start making more money from Twitch subs than he ever did from YouTube members.
That is another huge thing. That one is a big ol' fucking set to wumbo explanation for why a lot of people will switch back to Twitch. The earning potential on YouTube streams is substantially lower than it is on Twitch. Twitch is a platform with culture. Chat experience on Twitch has always and will always be better than YouTube. Period. Hands down. There's nothing YouTube can do to really beat that, and it doesn't seem like YouTube's even trying. They're just waving the white flag on that. They're just eating the huge fucking L on just having a bad chat experience compared to Twitch. But also, Twitch just has a culture of subbing. Like, Twitch has Prime subs, which is something you can do for free for your favorite streamer, where you sub to them with Twitch Prime, and it's free for you, and the streamer gets paid. Like, that is a deal YouTube just can't match. And it's extremely beneficial to the streamers on Twitch. So Tim the Tatman can make in one day what it took 3 years for him to make on YouTube, at least when it comes to like membership numbers versus sub numbers. So YouTube has a sub equivalent with members, but nobody fucking uses it. Most people don't even know it exists. Also, it's not even functional on mobile. You have to go outside of the YouTube app, like on like a different browser on your phone, in order to even find the join button for most channels. Like, it's not something that's integrated into YouTube streaming. So most streamers on YouTube will never come close to the amount of subs a Twitch streamer will have. And they won't even come close to the amount of money a Twitch streamer earns if they are streaming on YouTube. So that's another really enticing reason why a lot of people that were streaming on YouTube are going back to Twitch. Also, another obvious one is discoverability. The main critique of YouTube streaming since its inception has been how hard it is to navigate and how difficult it is to even find streams in the fucking first place. And they have done little to improve that. Any channels that have found success streaming on YouTube are channels that already had an audience before they started streaming or had an audience from elsewhere that came in for those YouTube streams. Anyone that's just starting with streaming on YouTube, it's not going to bring in any viewers because discoverability is non-existent. YouTube is actually really good when it comes to like event streams though. So this is something Ludwig also talks about. If a big moment happens in an event, like grand finals is going on in some kind of big tournament, and a lot of people start flooding in, well, YouTube recognizes that and then actually starts recommending that stream outside of the normal little bubble, like the quarantine unit that it keeps streams in. So then you actually will get some eyes on it. But if you're like just daily streaming normal shit or just starting out streaming, you're not going to have that stream go to anyone outside of whatever audience you've already built up going into it. You have better odds of writing your YouTube handle on a paper airplane and throwing it out of your window and hoping a neighbor sees it and checks it out than you do just streaming on YouTube and relying on them to push it. It doesn't happen. Whereas on Twitch, even though there are so many streamers to compete with in every category, your odds of being seen are higher. Your potential to have some viewers trickle in is just higher on Twitch.
If you look at the most watched major streaming platforms by hours watched of live broadcasts, Q2 of this year, YouTube gaps Twitch. It's not close. 3 times bigger, 15 billion. However, that doesn't exactly tell the full story. Because if you look at this, you also have to include, some people like YouTube's biggest live streamer by hours watched, which is not iShowSpeed. It is Lo-Fi Girl.
Yeah, so just looking at the cold, hard Carfax here, looking at these numbers, taking a peek under the hood, it looks like on the surface YouTube is slapping Twitch around when it comes to these numbers. But it's really not. Because these numbers are bloated just by the sheer volume of streams that are going on that are just literally always on. So like Lo-Fi Girl, probably the biggest stream in the world when it comes to watch hours. Like the watch time on that is absurd because it's 24/7 nonstop with tens of thousands of viewers that are idly just listening to it in the background or have it on while they sleep. So it's not like the healthiest number that they have here, it's just the biggest one. So it doesn't really tell the full story. And Lud also mentions some other very, very popular streams on YouTube that really inflate the fuck out of those numbers.
Things like Lo-Fi Girl or videos playing on loop or what there's a bunch of on YouTube Live, which is scams. In fact, one of the biggest live streams right now on YouTube is Tesla, except it's not Tesla. It is a scam account with 20,000 subscribers with 86,000 bots watching to give it some credibility. So people click on it who aren't part of the bot number, and then they scan this code, and then they lose all of their crypto. Do not scan this code. I'm showing this as an example of YouTube's corrupt botting problem.
If anybody actually scanned that QR code from Ludwig's video, I believe that it is now Ludwig's responsibility to pay you back for all of your lost crypto. He is liable now because Ludwig scammed you. I had the decency to censor the scam QR code. I'm just being a little goofster. If anyone actually scans that QR code and loses all their crypto, they 100% deserve it for being an unfathomably stupid buffoon. I will never be able to wrap my head around who actually falls for those. I truly don't understand it. Like, I know the default answer is like old people. I don't believe that because they probably don't have crypto in the first place. But anyway, what Ludwig is highlighting here is that these scams have tons and tons of viewership, last for quite a long time, thus bump those numbers up on the YouTube streaming hours. And they're not real. Like, you can probably find 10 of these streams going on right now. Like, that also tells me the scam must be pretty successful. There must be some people falling for it. I don't know how, you absolute imbeciles. But there's tons of them happening all the time, inflating those numbers, and YouTube doesn't do anything about it, it doesn't seem.
Like actual streamers, actual people who are streaming video games. Well, then the contest becomes a lot more fair. And there's still a lot of huge streamers. I mean, look, Steak right now is live with 41,000 viewers. That is massive. That is a huge stream.
When you look at the actual streams going on with real sentient human beings behind them, the number gets a lot lower than you would expect given the huge number that you can see in the data. Especially when you look at gaming in particular, the number there is lower than Twitch. Twitch is beating them like my meat in that department.
So if I were to rephrase the question, is YouTube live streaming a failure? In America? In English-speaking countries? Kind of. Yeah, maybe a little bit. They're not doing as well as people thought they would. Across the world? Fuck no. They're doing amazing. They are crushing. And you know this is true if you watch VTubers. VTubers crush on YouTube, man. All of Asia seems to prefer YouTube for a live streaming platform, and it makes sense.
And this is something I've been saying for a while as well. Internationally, YouTube streaming is huge, but in America, it's definitely second fiddle to Twitch. The biggest breakout star on YouTube streaming is obviously iShowSpeed. But outside of Speed, all the other big English-speaking streamers are on Twitch. But internationally, YouTube's doing very well. Ludwig also gave an example about how Twitch abandoned South Korea recently, so there's just a lot of places that are preferring YouTube for streaming outside of America. And another thing, YouTube's player is just better than Twitch's. You can rewind the stream if you want to, the bitrate is higher, the streams look better. So if you're someone that just likes to kick back and watch a stream and not really interact at all, YouTube's player is going to be very enticing and probably going to be the preferred platform for you. But a lot of people who watch streaming because they like the interactive element of it. And that's where Twitch destroys YouTube. It has an entire culture to its chat. So a lot of people, well, I'm not even going to say a lot of people, everybody prefers the Twitch chat experience. Like, there's very few people that like the YouTube chat experience because there really isn't one. Like, even going to the biggest streams, you're not going to see a whole lot going on in the chat aside from, like, some spam here and there. But on Twitch, you'll see, like, entire discussions happening in chat or, like, a bunch of, like, inside jokes and all kinds of shit that just makes it feel like a real community as opposed to on YouTube's chat experience. Overall, I have a similar takeaway as Ludwig when it comes to whether or not YouTube streaming is a failure. Overall, it's not because it's doing so well internationally, but when it comes to English-speaking streaming content, it definitely is well behind Twitch. Yes, it is gaining a little bit, but more and more streamers are just switching back to Twitch. A lot of the influx came from seeing big streamers come to YouTube and people following that path, and now that even more are going back to Twitch, I think that's going to continue to happen. But yeah, it doesn't mean YouTube streaming as a whole is dead or a complete failure. It just really lost all of its footing in America. I do, however, disagree with Ludwig on a pretty big thing, which is multi-streaming. I started multi-streaming almost a year ago now, and I actually think it was an incredibly good decision, and one that I still believe is a very smart decision for many streamers regardless of their size. Ludwig believes that multi-streaming isn't great because it makes your viewers spread out. So it basically splinters them between two platforms, which makes it very difficult to reach the consistently high highs of some of like the top streamers on Twitch. By being married to one platform in particular, you can cultivate that audience and grow it there so that way you're at the top of those categories consistently, like on Twitch or something, so you'll keep getting new viewers and reach insane peak viewership because as more people find you, more people talk about you, and it just keeps feeding that fire, as opposed to having a lower number on that platform because some of the viewers are watching you on a different platform, so then not as many people are seeing it and talking about it. And, like, I get the point, but I do think that being on two different platforms is reaching two different audiences. And I think that's pretty clear looking at, like, Tim the Tatman here, right? Like, his YouTube number is lower than his Twitch number, even though he started as a Twitch streamer and spent 3 years as a YouTube streamer. It's pretty clear that those have to be different viewers that are being reached. And I think there's a lot of value in that. For one, I think it's better for viewers because you give them the option to watch you on their favorite platform. So the viewers that prefer YouTube can watch you there if they want like the better player, or they can watch you on Twitch if they want the better interactive experience with chat. And I think it's good for the streamer too because you're reaching two separate audiences at the same time. The YouTube audience and the Twitch audience, yes, there's definitely going to be overlap, but it's not like it's the same audience on both platforms that's been fractured. It's two separate ones, and I think there's definitely benefits there, because if he wasn't multi-streaming, for example, he was only on Twitch, the 11,000 people on YouTube that were watching Tim might not be watching him on Twitch, so he'd stay at 17,000 over there and completely miss out on 11,000 eyeballs from YouTube. Plus, there is the added benefit that YouTube VODs are significantly better than Twitch VODs. So, when he finishes that multi-stream, his YouTube stream immediately saves as a video to his channel in the live tab that viewers can go back and watch, and also that gets put into the algorithm pretty often. There are streams that'll pop up in recommended, even if you're not someone already watching streams on YouTube, if there's some type of overlap in the algorithm between what video you watched and what stream gets popped up. So it also helps you in that regard, reaching a new audience that maybe found you through a VOD and then chooses to watch you on YouTube. So I just really think there's a lot of things that make multi-streaming a good idea, regardless of how big a streamer is. I think it's a very, very good idea for someone that's just starting out streaming, because you want to lat spread as much as possible to get your lats exposed to whoever is on whatever platform. Just spreading your wings as far and wide as they can go on as many platforms as you can, I think is great for anyone that's just starting with streaming. Which I know Ludwig does agree with. He mentions that, and he also mentions that multi-streaming is optimal for events. He thinks that's the one that makes the most sense, and he's right. Multi-streaming events is a great idea because it puts the event in front of so many other eyeballs. But I do really think it's a very viable strategy for just daily, consistent streamers as well. It just puts your content to more people, and I don't think it necessarily fractures your viewership all that much, because I really am starting to believe there isn't a ton of overlap between Twitch viewers and YouTube viewers. I think they stay in their own pockets with their preferred platforms, so I don't even think you take a huge viewership hit when you start multi-streaming. When I started multi-streaming, I was averaging like 11 or 12,000 viewers on Twitch, and then I started multi-streaming, and then my average on Twitch went down to like 8 or 9,000, so it was a little bit, but then I gained about 15,000 on YouTube. So, you know, it really doesn't seem like it's that big of a trade-off when it comes to multi-streaming. I really think it's more positives than negatives. But anyway, I just wanted to yap about this as a part-time streamer, just kind of wanted to weigh in here. That's about